Hi, everyone. So happy to see everybody today and welcome to our first ever Behind the Practice here in the Community Hub. Dr. Julie and I are together for this session in Vancouver, and we are so glad to see everyone here today.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here. Welcome. This is so exciting that we're together for our very first community webinar here.
So today's session is all about collaboration as a marketing strategy. And this is a topic that's close to my heart because I've seen firsthand how powerful it can be when clinics and providers move away from competition and start leaning into connection. So this really isn't a typical marketing talk. We're not talking about ads or funnels or dancing on TikTok. Instead, we're exploring the kind of partnerships and relationships that can help you grow your practice in a way that feels aligned with your values, builds trust, and strengthens your community presence. Over the next hour, we'll be breaking down real strategies that you can put into action right away, from things like referral partnerships to community collaborations, cross-discipline projects, and even simple relationship building habits that make your marketing feel more human and less transactional. So a few quick housekeeping notes before we begin. This session is being recorded and you will have access to the replay after today's talk. And our attendees will also be muted for this session. So you are welcome to join the conversation in the chat during our prompts that we'll have at the end. As always, Behind the Practice is about sharing openly, learning together, and leaving with practical tools you can start using right away. So grab a notebook, open your laptop, turn off the distractions, and let's dive in. I am so excited to introduce Dr. Julie, who's with me today. Dr. Julie is the CEO of Ginger Desk. It's a company that's absolutely transforming the way healthcare providers run their practices by offering dedicated virtual assistant support. So under her awesome leadership, Ginger Desk has become a trusted partner for clinics across North America, helping providers reclaim their time, reduce their stress, and focus more on the meaningful work they do with patients. She's also a fellow Jane ambassador, which means she's not just super passionate about practice optimization, she's also out there championing the tools and strategies that make running a healthcare business smoother, more efficient, and more aligned with what providers truly value. What I love about Dr. Julie is she's walked this path herself. She knows the challenges of building and growing a practice, and she's built her work around creating solutions that are practical, human-centered, and sustainable. We are so fortunate to have her here today to share her perspective on collaboration as a marketing strategy and how leveraging partnerships, whether it's technology, your team, or your community, can truly be a game changer. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Julie.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. It is so great to have everyone here, and I feel so honored that I'm here on this very first launch of Jane Community and for us to be the first talk. And it's so special that Jen has traveled all the way here to Vancouver, where Jane headquarters is. That's where we are right now. And we're kind of sitting on the same chair, in fact, and we keep joking that we need to hug to be in the same frame. So this truly is just a special talk today. And thank you all for joining us. So I'm so excited to be presenting on the topic of marketing as a collaboration tool. And for me, collaboration has never just been a nice to have in my practice, in my company. It's really been the engine behind what I believe is real practice growth. And over the years, I've seen how partnerships with colleagues, community organizations, and even with patients themselves can become powerful marketing channels. So when we join forces we don't just share audiences. We also build trust. We become truly vetted people in the people's community that we're working with. We expand our reach and we show patients that their care team is truly united. So we're going to be talking all about that today. Now, a little bit about why I'm qualified to be speaking with you here today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the CEO and founder of Ginger Desk. We have a team of North American-based virtual assistants who are specialized experts in Jane software and in running efficient, organized clinics. I've also been a naturopathic physician for coming up 20 years this year, and I have a really thriving clinic located here, right actually near Jane headquarters, with a group of very professional and incredible professionals who are naturopathic physicians. And here at Ginger Desk, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of practitioners all across North America for the last 5 years now. And beyond managing the day-to-day of their practices, doing the work of front desk teams, we also conduct practice admin audits. We create customized office manuals that we like to call practice playbooks. In short, we live and breathe admin workflows and efficiency all through Jane. And so we are proud to be Canadian, just like Jane, based here in Vancouver, BC. So back to our topic today is collaboration. What I want to say is that working alone is so 2020. Today's clinicians are getting help. They're referring to colleagues, they're meeting up in person, and they're finding ways to collaborate that both support patient outcomes and business growth. And collaboration, to me, it's just not a buzzword. It's actually what allows practitioners to extend their capacity, to prevent burnout, and to really grow their practices sustainably. So we're going to talk all about that today. We'll talk about the why behind collaboration, and then the types of collaboration based on your personality type that will really move the needle for you. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Jen.
All right. So when we look at the future of healthcare, I think one theme that keeps on coming up and up again is really collaboration. And I want to talk about why this is the future of healthcare and what it can do for our attendees today. And even as you start to speak to your colleagues about this session that you've heard. But the first is patient expectations are really evolving. So people no longer see healthcare as a one provider experience. They want an integrated team that communicates with each other, that shares insights and works together to support them as a whole person, not just a diagnosis. So it really impacts their expectations, but also the patient experience. And then our next point here is the rise of value-based care in accelerating this shift. So health outcomes and quality are rewarded over practice volume. And that means coordinated care and shared accountability are not just best practices, they are becoming essential for practice success. And then the third is trust. So trust has become a powerful marketing differentiator. Patients choose providers and clinics that they really feel like they can trust and that their values are aligned with. And nothing builds trust faster than a care team that's clearly aligned and also working together. And when patients see that type of collaboration, they see commitment in that team. And then our final point here is team-based care models. And they are proving that when providers collaborate, whether across disciplines or within one practice, patients experience better health outcomes and providers reduce burnout and the practice grows stronger. So when it comes to growing your practice through collaboration, there are three main types that we're going to chat about today. The first one is clinical, the next is community, and then there's also professional collaboration. And the beauty of this framework is that there's truly a collaboration style for every provider. So whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, or whether you thrive in in-person events or prefer building relationships online, I think one key takeaway for us as we work with so many different types of providers is that not everybody wants to be Instagram famous or dancing on TikTok. Like they really value creating relationships that are sustainable and long-term. So collaboration can be discipline specific, condition specific, or just simply rooted in your own strengths and the values that you carry for your practice. So no matter your style, there's a way to approach collaboration that feels natural, authentic, and sustainable for you.
So let's talk about these different kinds of collaboration and what these actually look like when we see them functionally happening in practice. So here's one of my favorite shows, Seinfeld. So clinical collaboration looks like this. It looks like interdisciplinary care plans. It can be case co-management. And the beauty of all of this is that patients then perceive, oh, they care more because they work together. And, we see a lot of patients these days. It used to be, for me in the naturopathic profession, it used to be that patients would go to WebMD when they wanted to know the answer to something. Then they went to Google, and now they're going to ChatGPT. And so the best thing that we can do as practitioners, if we ever have a gap, is we are totally authentic about it. And we tell our patients, I don't actually know the answer to that, but guess what? I know someone who does. And then to have a really incredible referral source and a list that you can trust will just further validate your credibility. And so at my own clinic, for example, we're made up of a team of naturopathic physicians. And you might think that because we're a single discipline, that collaboration isn't possible, but that actually couldn't be farther from the truth. So one of our doctors is incredible with brain health. Another one specializes in women's hormones through menopause. And then another one focuses on digestion. So if any of you've heard of SIBO, it's a bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. And it requires a lot of extra education. And so not everyone has these same special focuses, even though we all have the same training background. And so we frequently will cross-refer to one another and co-treat. And what this looks like in Jane is that we have our Jane set up that we can share charts and we can see each other's chart notes. And it lets everything be so much more fluid for the patient because we've got the same intake form. We always call it one robust form that the patient has filled out. So no matter who they see in my clinic, they can know that they're getting a standardized, streamlined level of care. And we all have up-to-date access in what just happened in the previous visits. And we can also communicate then with the chart and with tasking for the patient. And so it's really incredible. And I really want to highlight that you can collaborate with folks from the same discipline. It doesn't always have to be that an ND has to talk to a pelvic physio and a counselor. Those work great for us too.
Yeah.
But we can also collaborate with people in our own clinic.
Yeah.
So I'd encourage you to think about where you can reach out, whether it's across disciplines or within your own discipline, who can help you create the best referral list so that your patients get the best information from the people that you trust most so that they get the most comprehensive support possible.
I love that. And good on you for your intake form being that way.
Thank you.
That is workflow optimization to a T. To Dr. Julie's point, I think there's also a way to focus in, it can be discipline specific, like we said, or condition. So if you have a gap in your clinical knowledge or background, and it's not a negative thing. If anything, if that's your in to find somebody that can complement your care in a way that's going to improve patient outcomes, but also the growth of your practice because you refer back and forth.
That's such a great point. You're right.
Thanks for that.
So community collaboration. I love this one. This is my favorite one. So this isn't for everyone. I am a big community builder. I built my clinic 10 years ago with the idea of just being a real hub in our community. And what this could look like for you is partnerships with gyms, with schools, possibly with daycares. I've partnered with mom and baby groups, for example. You might also want to partner with other wellness centers, rec centers, or seniors' homes. Depends on the patient that you're trying to attract, where your patient hangs out. That's where you want to be. You might also consider doing co-hosted events. Maybe they are screenings for certain movies, like MPAUSE came out, and we had a lot of docs over here who were doing screenings for that. certain webinars where you can reach your specific patient demographic, that can be an incredible place to grow your credibility and to reach more people who are just like your ideal patient. At our clinic, we've really made partnerships part of our culture, and we started what's called Restore Your Health community series. We have in-person talks. We also do online webinars, and our practitioners are always out connecting with local businesses and groups. So for us, what really moved the needle was we've hosted, for example, vitamin B12 shot clinics. We went into Pilates studios and yoga studios. We have a captive audience. They leave their class and we are there telling them all about our services, offering them a B12 shot with a consent form, obviously. We've also run immune support workshops with running groups where immune support is top of mind for them. And it's not necessarily that we're speaking to athleticism itself, but we're just talking to a topic that really is interesting to them. And again, captive audience, 50 runners about to hit the pavement. We can talk to them about why it's important that they take care of their immune systems. And we've also had really great success giving presentations on how to pack healthy lunches to teachers and groups of parent association meetings in local schools. One of my favorite community events was a Well Baby talk that I used to give regularly at a restaurant and company here in Vancouver called the Juice Truck. And they would have mom and baby meetups. And I would come and I would talk about how to pack your family's first aid kit. And it was just so casual. We were all sitting on this carpet, cross-legged. It was so incredible. And I was able to connect with so many people. I met professional partnerships through that exposure. There was some online benefits of being there as well. But I met so many new patients by doing that. And it built trust, created connections, and it really did turn into a lot of longstanding patient relationships.
Yeah. And I think for some of our listeners today, community collaboration can feel a little bit out of your comfort zone. Like feels a little tricky, you know?
And it's public speaking.
It's public speak. It's not comfortable for everybody.
That's right.
But you also have to put yourself in the mindset of what exists on the other side of this small obstacle. How many patients will I be able to reach? How many clients will I be able to help? And how will that impact my community? And so there's a real positive on the other end. So I just wanted to say for everyone that's like, oh, community partnerships, like I don't think I can do it. Think about the outcome and the impact that you'll have and the knowledge that you have as a clinician or practitioner. A lot of people need you and your voice matters, essentially.
It really does. And, you can do this as a group to take the heat off a little bit. That's what we do at my clinic. We're always doing this in groups of 2 or 3. It's more fun when there's even more of us, but you've got a buddy there. And if someone's a bit quieter, someone else can be a bit more domineering with speaking.
Yeah, that's so great.
And now professional. So this is really great. So this is a really powerful way that you can grow your practice and your reputation. And what I mean by this is you connecting with other professionals in the health industry and really leveraging their audience and their platform and combining, and then the impacts of that are really synergistic. So one really simple entry point might be guest speaking on peer platforms. So if you have a colleague who has a podcast or a webinar, or maybe they host a group on Facebook, say yes if they ask you. If they don't ask you, go ask them. People are always looking for guests. It's often like it's a part of their job to actually go and find people to speak. And if you're interested in speaking with their audience, if their audience resonates with what you deliver, go offer that up to them, because my guess would be they would be so happy to have you.
Yeah.
And you can also create joint content with other providers. So it might not be that you necessarily need to do a talk on their platform. You might co-write a blog post. So if writing is your jam, you might do that. If you do love speaking, you might create a video series with them. Even IG Lives or like a Q&A where you maybe host something that's just 5 or 15 minutes once a week and you create it as part of a series. And perhaps the most valuable is authentic referral networks, because when you collaborate with practitioners who share your values, your patient philosophy, referrals just feel natural and it doesn't feel like marketing. Networking can be fun and it can be like hanging out with your friends. They don't feel transactional like us sitting here right here hanging out together. They can feel really rooted in trust, which gives patients more likely to follow through and to stay engaged with you. So I'll give you a couple of examples of where I've had some great joy in working with partnerships. So we at my clinic have built a wonderful partnership with the company MyoDetox. They are all across Canada and the US now. They also have a couple of locations here on the North Shore. And we love this team, and my team has collaborated with them, and we've done what are called in-services with them. So their team came to us, talked all about the approach of Myo, how they treat patients, when to recognize someone who needs a referral. And then we went to them and we actually went doctor by doctor explaining our approach to medicine and the patients that they could send to us. And we got so many referrals from them. Our patients got such better care because we not only knew to send to the clinic, but we knew which practitioner we were referring to. We knew their specialized approach, and it felt like a white glove handoff. It's now just like such better care. You know, go to them, talk to this person, tell her I sent you. And another incredible collaboration that I've had is with my dear friend Laura Patrick from Kids Physio. So Kids Physio also has, I think, 21 locations now. We have co-presented 2 groups of moms and kids together, and I've had so much fun with Laura. She's their founder. We've run so many workshops together about well baby exams, but also about just taking care of your young kids. And when our 2 communities come together, there is this synergy that patients can actually feel because we're fired up and we're excited. And that's really what can make professional collaborations so powerful. It builds trust, expands your reach, and really creates this authentic referral network that will serve patients. And I'll tell you what, you will see your referrals just go exponential because of that reach. Because all you need to do is reach one person from this new community and they're going to tell their friends. And so even just speaking to one person is always worth it. So reach out to your colleagues, ask them for a virtual tea, ask them to join their podcast, invite them to join one of your events as well, and start building out your referral network.
Yeah. I think one of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I build momentum in my practice? Like, people ask that, how do I build momentum? Well, what you're speaking to right now is that momentum, and it's authentic. So I talk about values alignment a lot, but this is an area where your values align, like you've aligned with a practitioner that shares your philosophy and you have a similar client demographic, and that builds momentum as you're growing in a way that also feels sustainable, because you're serving a client base that already feels aligned with your care philosophy. And like, that makes a huge, huge difference in your day-to-day. So thanks for that.
Exactly. They come in vetted.
Yeah.
Right. They already trust you. And, you know, I've never offered free meet and greets. And I know that that's a big discussion among health practitioners. Should I offer a meet and greet? Or should I just launch into my first initial visit? My clinic does offer them, but I don't personally offer them. I've always just done so much community awareness that I tend to meet folks. They've gotten to know me. They know they want to come in, and we know we're aligned. So there is this real value there of putting yourself out there.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So how to market collaboration authentically. So when it comes to marketing collaboration, in my mind, there's these 3 pillars, right? There's storytelling, education, and purpose. So when we talk about storytelling, I really like to coach on the way that people connect with stories way more than they're going to connect with numbers, stats, or like a care plan sales pitch, right? So, share real patient journeys. Do things like highlight team wins within your practice, and always frame the patient or even the community as the hero in the story. So when you keep it really human and relatable, your audience feels the care behind that collaboration. It just breathes authenticity.
I think so many practitioners are nervous about doing this because they think, well, what about HIPAA compliance and all of this? But you can make a case sound very vague. You can use different names. You can change some of the circumstances, but those stories are necessary for them to get an idea of what kind of cases you actually have success treating.
Right. And I think it also builds a really positive culture in your practice. So when your team really feels vested in the success of the health of the patients in your practice, it builds momentum and buy-in for them too. So that's kind of like an off thing here.
I love that.
It's great for culture building. The second point I have is education. So I really feel strongly that marketing itself should also teach. It really should teach. You should really be explaining the value of collaboration in just plain language that everybody can understand. So share information, even shareable content that shows why a collaborative approach really matters in your practice. And again, feature examples of how collaboration shows up in care. The key here is consistency. So you don't need to post, 6 times a day, but as long as you're educating your community, your patient base, whether that's online, in a newsletter, in outreach to the existing patient base as well, it creates referrals from within and also a really engaged patient base. And then finally is purpose. So this is a mindset shift.
This is my favorite one.
This is a little mindset shift, but you don't market yourself. You're marketing your mission. So instead of selling, you want to focus on serving your community. And a good rule of thumb is if your content builds understanding and trust, you are marketing authentically. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from today is it's very purposeful in the way that we talk about collaboration. Right?
I love that. And people want to know why you care so much.
Of course.
They want to know why you do it. So tell them.
Yeah,
right? Not just what you do. Tell them why you do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But people love that.
People love passion.
They love passion.
They follow it.
Yeah. So when you align your storytelling, the education piece, and your purpose, your marketing not only promotes your practice, but it just does that. It strengthens your relationships, your reputation, and the impact that you want to make on your community and your practice members.
So we have a tool for all of you who are joining us today, or even if you're watching the recording. It's called 51 Tasks to Outsource to Your Jane Expert Ginger Desk VA for Practice Growth. So this isn't just a standard boring old list, but rather it's not. It's really geared toward growing your practice and how you can use Jane and an assistant to collaborate with so that you can do what you do best. So one of the questions that we hear all the time from practitioners at Ginger Desk is, when do I need an assistant? When am I actually ready for an assistant? And the truth is, there are a number of answers to that question. How do you know it's time? We've got a number of tasks on this list that will show you exactly what we can do for you. And if you're doing all of them on your own, then it's time. So at the same time, we also hear from practitioners that the number one desire that they have, that you have, is that you want to grow your practice income. Is that right, Jen?
All the time.
Jen tells me this all the time. Not everybody wants to grow their patient base, right? Some people are quite happy with where they are in terms of their billable hours. But what we know is people want to grow their revenue. And so to help with both, we've put together this special gift for you. And like I said, it's not just a generic task list. It's built specifically for health practices so that you can see how to collaborate with both Jane and an assistant in ways that drive growth for your business. So for example, on this tool, we'll talk about we'll list off items that you can outsource for community engagement, for community collaboration. So if you want to grow a group program, for example, you can go out there and you can speak to that and you can set up the systems for that. And we'll build the back end for that. We'll sign up your patients. We'll get that list going for you. If you've got a goal of having a membership, so maybe you want to collaborate with another health practitioner and together you're going to create a membership together for a certain program, you can have a concierge assistant who is there to answer questions about it and who is there to get the signups and who can set up the back end for it in Jane. If you've got in-services booked with other practitioners, like I was talking about that my clinic's done with other clinics, maybe you're meeting other businesses or gyms, you can have your concierge assistant manage those emails going out and make sure that the schedule is booked properly. You shouldn't be the one handling the admin tasks behind the scenes or the systems for that. You should leave that to someone else so that you can go out there and grow your business by networking and connecting with these people. If you've also got a plan for collaborating with professionals, you probably want to send them some referral thank you letters. You might want to have a tagging system in your inbox devoted to specifically tagging when emails from those practitioners come in. You also might want to look at the ROI for what this partnership has gleaned. And so creating a tracker to really track the sales from that specific appointment type would be really great so that you can see the outcome from those meetings and what that means to your bottom line. So you might be liaising then with Jane reports. We can pull Jane reports for you, send them to your bookkeeper, send them to other practitioners so that they can have their finger on a pulse of what's happening with those partnerships. So essentially, Ginger Desk VAs can act as your representative and your gatekeeper in your inbox while you're out there building and growing your beautiful business.
Yeah. And I think one of the key points that I think not many practitioners think about is the fact that you can run group programs and workshops using Jane. It exists. You can do this. You don't have to use your Google Calendar for that, And Ginger Desk can be great in automating a lot of the processes that need to be in place for you to be successful in that program. So you had mentioned that, but I wanted to really drive that point across because I think it's overwhelming to think about, well, how am I going to really put this on? I have the knowledge, but how do I do it?
And you're right. Some people don't realize that, especially those of us who've used Jane for maybe many, many years, don't realize that that is a newer feature that some of probably the young practitioners are aware of.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen.
That's great.
Awesome. Now, at Ginger Desk, we are so proud to have been a longtime partner of Jane. Jane and Ginger Desk work seamlessly together. All of our virtual assistants are Jane experts, and we work together to achieve what we call admin freedom so that practitioners can focus on patient care and practice growth. So what we do at Ginger Desk to support Jane clinics and folks using Jane is we provide the day-to-day VA support by communications, by email, text, and phone. We also support invoicing, accounts payable, accounts receivable, and collections. Here in Canada, we offer direct insurance billing. In the US, we do insurance pre-authorizations, and we do what we call admin workflow assessments. We also build out customized office manuals known as practice playbooks. So we do everything the front desk can do and more. I like to think of us as a highly organized, systematized approach to clinic management that keeps your practice run smoothly. So what's best is that we keep you doing what you love, which is growing your practice. And at Jane, they say, we're here at Jane headquarters and they have this beautiful sign that's in cursive writing and it's lit up and it says, helping the helpers. And I love that tagline of Jane's. And we're here at Ginger Desk to support and serve you because you don't have to do this alone. And it is so much more delightful when we all collaborate together.
It is. All right. We are going to move on to the prompt portion of our chat today. So you are welcome to add your answers into the chat. We will check them out. And if you have any questions, we will answer those as well. So the first prompt here for everyone is on clinical collaboration. So I want everyone to just take a moment to sit back and reflect and think about a patient case that you've had in the last couple years, couple months, where collaboration with another provider could have made the outcome stronger for your patient. Who might that partner be, and what would that collaboration look like in your practice? So think about a patient case where collaboration with another provider could have made the outcome stronger? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
You can add your thoughts in the comments here. We are looking at the comments, so please don't be shy. We know we have hundreds of people on here, and I love how people get shy amongst large groups.
So I'll jump in. MD regarding medication to assist with depressive symptoms. That's great. That's a great one. I was going to say for myself, when I was a practicing nutritionist, I collaborated with one of our in-house practitioners. I could work under his license in ordering labs.
Incredible.
I needed to be able to see what was really going on to create a plan of care that was indicated for them. That's great. A good referral system.
Oh, and Brittany says she's a therapist. That's awesome. That's so great. And a good referral system. It's so awesome to have our list of our favorite people who are so good at what they do.
Right.
And people recognize that. Patients recognize that.
Yeah. And building that into your outreach, like in your month, like who am I reaching out to this month? What are the outcomes from this outreach? I think that's great as well, just to have a plan in place where it's not passive.
That's a great point where you just, of course, you made a system out of it, but once a month to reach out to your people, let them know you're
What's
still
new?
referring.
What are you doing? Are you hosting a talk? Are you taking a new course? Is there another thing that you're looking to integrate within your practice?
And who can I send to you?
Exactly. It's to be of service, right? That's great. Okay, so our next prompt here for everyone is community collaboration. So if you could align your practice with one community group, like Dr. Julie said, a school, a gym, a local business, which one feels like the best fit for you and why?
I'm curious to see what people say here because there's so many options. I mean, it could be a bank.
It could be a bank.
It could be a big software company where you go in and do chair massages.
Right.
There could be so many options.
Yeah. We had some of our chiropractors that went into government buildings in Ottawa to do ergonomic assessments of their desks.
Brilliant.
So we had a partnership with the government and they went in and did these assessments, but then they'd come in, right, to seek care because it was more than just the way they're sitting at their desk.
I love it. And they got to know you.
Yeah, definitely a community builder for sure. You want to read that one?
Yes. So chiropractor, awesome. More conservative. So Stephanie's saying she's more conservative care partners that you trust. Absolutely. And to make a quick referral. I love that. Absolutely. Right. You have to trust these people and you have to know we probably have to go see them for ourselves so that we actually know how they're going to treat. Brittany says a fitness facility. She has 13 years of previous experience in that industry. And so really sees the necessity between mind and body wellness because Brittany, you're a therapist. That's great. Family Connection Center, hedge fund office, women's centers, yoga studios, libraries.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Great to host mental health workshops. I love that, Maria. The local hospital, Satori. That's great. We can treat the healers and also create a referral system through that.
I love that.
That's amazing.
The one thing here that one of our audience members mentioned is referrals. So that's a great thing as we tie in Jane and Ginger Desk is referral templates that can live in your EMR, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then you just make it visible to the patient.
Exactly. So easy. Anyone else that wants to jump in or we will move on to the next prompt.
Great.
All right, so this one is on professional collaboration. So what's one way you could collaborate with a peer in your fields? So we've talked about public speaking, shared content, or referrals. So which one would feel authentic and aligned with your values? This is a bit of a different type of question because it's really putting yourself out there from a values-based perspective.
That's right. Oh, Colleen, that's great. Tutors for psych ed assessments. That's great. And maternity clinics, Jennifer says, for pre and postnatal massage. Excellent. Yeah, collab podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brittany, I love that too. And there's so many people that have podcasts these days. And like we said earlier, they're always looking for guests.
Yeah. They need your knowledge.
They do.
They need your knowledge.
We need more people to hear from all of you.
Yeah. And so in this question, when we talk about collaborating with a peer, has anybody co-authored an article or a blog post? I'd love to hear from our attendees. Is that something that people are doing? Or even an Instagram post? I love that, where it's between two providers and it's very easy and authentic about a specific condition, right?
I love that, because then they're collaborating on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. I started a healer. So Satori says, I started a healer social where I would try to bring in a speaker. Now I'm working on beginning to bring in continuing ed speakers. I love that. That's so brilliant. Thank you for hosting that for your community, Satori. That's beautiful. And have you had much interest in it?
Mm-hmm.
What's been the feedback? We'd love to hear.
Yeah.
And Brady, do you have a podcast? Do you have your own? Would love to hear from you both. And has anyone written a book?
Well, that's a good one.
I know that's a big one, but we have a lot of incredible authors in this industry. And yeah, it's not always just Instagram, and there are a lot of authors these days that co-write books together as a group each write a chapter.
Even
Brittany says she's not techie.
Oh,
yes, you can go be the host. You can go be the guest.
The guest, yeah. They'll tell you where to be and they'll turn your mic on for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Great.
I was going to say, like an ebook, it doesn't need to be professionally published. That's such a great point.
That's right.
And it can be collaboration across disciplines, right?
Yeah. Jen's going to write a book. I have a feeling.
I'm always writing something. I'm always up to something.
Excellent, Satori. That's great. We'd love to hear how that goes for you. I love the idea of that, a healer social.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. So this is about how collaboration shows up in your life now. So I would love to hear from everybody. What are you doing now? Are you focusing on these 3 types of collaborative efforts that we've spoken about? Are you using delegation as a collaboration strategy? So your in-house team, Ginger Desk, that's a form of collaboration. Or is it, I like to call this, techie collaboration for all of our Jane users? If you're thinking, oh my gosh, collaboration is just overwhelming to me, you're already here, you're already doing it, collaborating with a tech platform that really allows you to serve your community. You're there. You're doing it.
You've got a friend in Jane. I love it.
Yeah, you do have a friend in Jane.
And look, we have folks in the comments who are already creating collaborations and planning future events.
Yay!
I love this.
Kegels and cocktails.
Excellent. They're already planning a mom's night, Kegel and cocktails. All right, Dara and Janine, you've got this. It's great.
That is so wonderful.
I love it.
Well, we have a couple minutes left. So if anybody has questions for us, we are so happy to stick around and answer them. Any questions for myself or Dr. Julie?
We'd love to hear from you. We also know how precious your time is. Awesome. And Pearl's writing her book on architecture and acupuncture.
Oh.
Pearl, I am going to look this up. Congratulations. Please keep us posted when that gets published.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's really great. Awesome.
All right. Well, I want to say a huge thank you to Dr. Julie and our whole audience today for being here for our first session.
Thanks, Jen.
For Behind the Practice.
Yay,
I think it went amazing. Thank you. Thank you for everyone for being here, for joining the conversation. This is a topic and just a series that's so near and dear to my heart. I think in an industry where we can feel isolated from one another, it's important that we really put in the work and connect with fellow providers, not just for our own mental wellness, but for the health of our practice, right? So thank you again. We have a little note here. So anyone that wants to join myself for Scale with Simplicity next week, our Jane community manager put this link in the chat. So this is going to be all about my story about building my practice to 7 providers, and then eventually selling that, and then forming my own consulting agency, and the exact framework that I use and now teach others. And I'm going to have a wonderful free resource for everyone so you can learn how to leverage Jane just the way I did. That's it for us today.
Thanks, everyone. We so appreciate your time. Great to see you today.
Thanks for being here. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye.